All right, we should be live in the chat. I see a few people there. Maya, Martin, Ibrahim, Elias, Daniel.
Hello,
Hey,
hello,
guys.
hello.
Let us know if you can hear us, just to be sure, and we'll get started with the AMA. Hoss is here, Ball's here, I'm here. We've got a bit to go through, so aiming to take around 40 minutes or so of your time, and you should have a lot more information by the end of it than when we've started, I hope. Give it a couple of seconds just for the chat to light up and let us know that they can hear us. Cockringer, thanks, mate.
Jesus, Cockringer.
Some people in their usernames, man.
Yeah. Hallo aus Oberstdorf. Hello.
All right, let's go. So we've collated all of the questions from the Discord, and we'll go through those. There's about 20 of those. We'll go through one by one and do our best to answer, give the most information that we can, and add some things on the back end of the AMA. Of course, this is recorded on YouTube. If you're not here with us now and listening after the fact, this information should be as fresh as what it is right now when we're doing it live. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So Torello says, when are notifications coming? I think, Bull, you were going to start off with this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, good. So there's a hell of a lot of development that's happened and that's continued to happen. The short answer is this is dependent on the charts being released. So then the immediate next question is, when are the charts being released? There's 2 days of work left to get this out. The signals are being calculated on the back end. The new chart interface has been implemented. TradingView has been brought up to date and made more lean altogether. The screener has been prepared. There's just some final tests with data flowing from Exchange. So one of the things that we've done differently is we're not putting data from our backend streaming-wise into the app, but it's coming straight from the Exchange via the user that connects to it on the front end. And this part is slightly tricky because there's a lot of information that comes in and can break your browser or phone. But we're getting there. Last couple of things that have to be done. The reason why I'm not working on it at the moment is because I'm helping the development team finalize the macro dashboard and get ready for the order book and heat map stuff. So we focused on making sure the dev team is integrated well and can operate with all of our data infrastructure properly before me then diving into code again, because it would mean that I'm not working with them. So we want these elements out as soon as possible. But the notifications, the long answer short, is that they're coming immediately after the charting is released, because all the info is there. We had alerts already last year, and we had the whole Telegram interface working. We had this chart screenshots working. All of that stuff is already there and working. So we just need to reconnect it to the new charting.
Mm-hmm. I just want to show quickly the latest iteration of the macro dashboard. So you guys should be able to see that now. So if you haven't checked it out lately, there's been layout presets. So now we can go set the presets. Most of the front end work has been implemented now. So simple things that actually add a lot of joy when using this instead of pain. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, easily toggleable. The dates, it's just been easier to use since we've got a lot of feedback since the first iteration. So things like crossing out maybe things that are less relevant to what you want to see in the chart, and then having toggleable lines for charts like this. So go and check it out. But there's been a whole heap of updates pushed yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, and
also
iteratively
new
for that.
items.
Yeah, and a bunch of new items as well. So now we've got inflation charts, all of these. We need to eventually get some tags. So picture inflation tag, you'll choose the inflation tag, and all of the inflation charts will drop out, and some other things like that just make it easier. But we're getting close to finalizing this dashboard and then moving on to implementing the order book suite. But we'll answer that question a bit further on. But please test it out. Let us know.
Huge component.
Yeah, it's massive.
And one thing that's also maybe important to consider, that all of these specific charts isolated bring a lot of value, but we are aware of the fact that some people require more of a generalized view on things, and that will also come.
Yep.
Yeah. So
like
for me,
all of these.
The final pièce de la résistance for me is when we've released the new charts that the key items of this are integrated within the chart, so that we can see the important dates coming up, and that there is an abstract metric, which is the hotness of the market, if you will, integrated within the chart, so that you see what's happening.
Yep, agree. Cool. Back to the slides, I think now. So question 2, Nico, a good question, probably what a lot of people are asking. When is the marketing starting? Could you provide a strategy or plan? Is influencer marketing planned? How do you want to make people aware of Lambda? I think Hoss is probably best to throw this to in the first instance, and I'll tag on the back of what he has to say.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think one very important thing that people should not confuse here is that we didn't lack marketing because we just let it slide and we tried and it failed. No, we didn't approach it in that way that we planned it at all, because we set our minds to, we want to build it out, have a full product suite and experience that people will like and comprehend before we start mass marketing. And we also communicated that in the beginning, that we want to build it out fully. The token is a way to join us in that path, in that road along the way. It's not instant hype marketing, pump and dump. This was never our plan, even though we had a huge pump in the token value in the beginning. But for us, 2023 is mostly about building out the product, and even beginning of 2024 will be. But then eventually, when also the bull market catches up, it's about expanding our user base. And we have a lot of things planned for that. We have strategies for that. I mean, me and Ted, we both have audiences to engage with. But most importantly, we are fully aware of a more refined marketing approach, and it will come. It's just the fact that we have focused on building first and making sure, because we think if a user stumbles across Lambda, we want them to not have somewhat of a first impression of there being limitations, for them being limited. We want them to be able to foresee the same vision we have, and that requires a lot of other things that, for example, once we've built out a product suite to a level that we can say it is more full, things that people have felt like somewhat of a handicap, for example, saying, oh, I need to get a Solana wallet, and then I need to fund the Solana wallet. That's so complicated just to enter it. We are aware of that, and we think in the future there will be ways for everyone, no matter what blockchain, no matter what, even if he doesn't want to interact with the blockchain itself, he wants to have a more like a centralized access for people to access Lambda. And for the Lambda token and basically the back end of it still to run on Solana, because Solana is the blockchain that allows us the most flexibility and the lowest fees. But for the user to not even have it visible, he might be able at some point to just on-ramp with fiat, create a Google account or pay with Apple Pay. And in the back end, everything happens. The Solana will be put on his wallet that we generate, convert into all of those things. I don't want to dive too deep into that, but this is part of a major thing that we will also at some point try and will work on, which will also help a lot with when we start to ramp up the marketing to onboard anyone, not only people that are aware and capable of onboarding with Solana wallets, but Solana will always be the backend or the system on which this runs, the decentralized system on which this runs, the blockchain that we'll use. And this is a very important thing I think people should be aware of. And I mean, Ted, in terms of strategy itself, I think you can also say, I'll give you the mic back on this. You have also some words to say.
Yeah. So I completely agree with Horst. So the original vision for when Lambda started was, the one-stop platform for trading and getting ideas about what to trade, when to trade, and how to trade it. So that's what we're aiming to get to, and I think we're slowly getting there. It's a mammoth task, and I hope you guys can understand that. The macro dashboard, as you see it, has been months and months of work. But as these features come out, and as we continue to iterate with Lambda, it's going to become easier and easier to market. So I think for Hoss, that's as simple as implementing the platform into his videos. For me, myself, also getting back on YouTube once I get my head out of the code, which should be in the coming month, to share it with, we've been building for so long. So now let's share these things, share these charts that are interesting, narrate over the charts, get people involved in how they can interpret these charts and how they can use them in their trading, in their, whether they're a trader, an investor. So we can start to do those things now. And you'll see that over the coming weeks, coming month, the Twitter will be sharing more charts, the YouTube game will pick up as well. So I guess the point being, as we iterate, as we release more and more features, this whole marketing plan and strategy is going to come to fruition. And it's not necessarily a strategy. The strategy is to get to our end goal, which is we want people to be like, all right, I'm trading crypto. I want to go and use Lambda because everything's there. I don't need anything else. So that's the end goal. And if we can achieve that, it's going to be so easy. And Marge is right with, let's get the community involved, and what can the community do? And I think it's as simple as, just interacting on Telegram. So the purpose of opening the Telegram chat was to, one, prepare for a more wider, broader product release over the coming month or two, with a more mobile-friendly application, and also to onboard a totally different demographic. Not everyone uses Discord, and not everyone's on Twitter. So opening up those avenues for more people to join the community, to speak about Lambda, to share charts, share ideas. So that's, I guess, an iterative process. But like Hoss said earlier, we've been focused on building this year, but 2024 and into the back end of even this year, we're going to be sharing a lot more insights into the platform and hopefully onboard more people in the process. And things like the referral link, the lockup of tokens, and the marketplace as they go live, that should be a natural flywheel for more and more people to come and see what Lambda's about.
Yeah, exactly. And then one question that people also, I saw it right now in the chat, maybe just to differentiate here for a little bit, because I have launched something which is called Alpha Dojo, and people confuse it with Lambda, say, oh, this is like the same like Lambda, but it's absolutely completely different. It's basically, Alpha Dojo is like a private group for people that are affiliated with me via my BitGet exchange link. And it's just a place to communicate. Lambda is an execution tool, an analytics tool. It's a complete different ballgame. A dojo will not have a token. It has nothing to do with with the decentralized blockchain as per se. It's just an access to a private group for the people that support me via the affiliate link, with some benefits on it, some research papers here and there. But it has nothing to do with Lambda will be, for example, one tool that the people in the dojo will use. And it's also a way
I was
to
going
make
to say that would be like a synergy, right, Horst? Like between the two, you can have your community
exactly
engaging
we can
with
help
the community, right?
Exactly, because Lambda itself is a software company, you could call a software tool that goes far beyond just me and Ted, and will go at some point, especially with the marketing as well. Whereas Alpha Dojo is just my personal private group, which helps leverage also, because we can offer potentially at some point specific benefits to the people from the dojo, which will help more usage of Lambda and so on. So it's a really nice synergy that will happen.
Yeah, and I think just on the end of this is we have had some, I guess decent Twitter accounts with decent followings reach out and say, hey, the platform looks cool. And we're kind of curating a list of going out to these accounts and saying, hey, we've got this platform, you can use it. Of course, no charge. And then that's also another avenue where they can share the charts to their audience. But the only thing with that is that we wanted to be completely ready before we do reach out. So we're almost getting to that stage. And that's another thing that we're doing on the marketing strategy side of things.
Okay, well, just to wrap up this question, because we've got a lot of questions to go through. I think that the main takeaway is that we've used a lot of the IDO funds to make sure that we develop the strongest possible platform for directional trading within crypto. And we want to make sure that all the tools are so far battle tested and advanced that it's a matter of opening the app in 3 seconds, understanding what to do, checking your positions, making sure that you can execute the right way, and having the right tools and signals to update you in the best possible format. And we've worked a lot on that this year, and next year it's about making sure we get it out there.
Yeah. TLDR. Okay, next question. Let's go to skip one. Is the strike algorithm an ongoing work, always being refined? Close to the release date, will you do and share another backtest to verify its effectiveness? It's clear that we should not follow it blindly, correct?
Yeah, so before I answer this question, I think there was another question before this. Is that correct? About the NFTs for the...
So, yeah, the NFTs. Maybe I'll skip that in the slides.
Okay.
I touch that first?
Yeah, it's a question that was asked in the channel. I can answer it really, really quickly. So Dangerous Bros and Habibi are fully in charge of the NFT thing. And just for those who don't know, the NFT has got nothing to do with revenue generating for Lambda or anything like that. It's merely a way to say thank you to the initial 500 people that were the foundational members. And they are the people that basically, when we were just a Telegram group without any apps or any software or anything whatsoever, they're like, yes, we're going to support the guys to make this platform. And they have stuck around this whole time and helped us build Lambda into what it is right now. And it's a way for them to have an NFT to commemorate that. And the ownership of said NFT will enable access for as long as they have the NFT. So when will they be launched? As soon as we are feature complete on the charting and so forth, we're going to tell Bros and Habibi to kick off that process, and they're fully in charge of it. So if you have more questions, just ask them directly in the Discord. Now we can move on to Lucy. Is the strike algorithm an ongoing work? Absolutely. Always being refined? Yes. Close to the release date, will you do and share another backtest to verify the effectiveness? Blah, blah. Yeah. So never follow anything blind ever in life, except for the need to breathe and to drink and to stay warm. That's just, I cannot stress that enough. This is not a tool to ape in on blindly. We will continue to improve it. Just a quick TLDR on the dev side. So what we have done is we've moved the execution to the backend and changed it all to Python, which allows us to tie in other data sources, making it stronger. We want to get it feature complete out, including the liquidity gaps, including liquidations, OI funding, and that kind of stuff in the charting update. Once that is there, we have a platform in Python, which all of us can work on and improve. So once the market heats up a little bit again, we're going to be applying the tool and backtesting it again, renew. We'll release those statistics for sure, and then continue to improve it. So once the platform is live and fully functioning, that will be a big focus area for us to work on. So that's the answer to that question.
Yeah, for sure. I would say just on using the algorithm itself. So you look at it here, and you're looking at the daily chart. Depending on what you are doing, like what is your goal? Are you a day trader? Are you an investor? If you're an investor, you probably look at the daily. Like you can get some pretty clean signals. You're looking for flow to touch down the extension, et cetera, et cetera. So now you might be thinking, okay, if I bought down here when the flow was, probably in the reversal zone, and now I'm waiting for it to come up and test the top. So it depends. It's a very discretionary tool. But the beautiful thing about what we're building is that it's going to open the door for people to create their own systematic indicators with the marketplace, or be a bit more systematic with the approach in general. And I guess everyone's trading styles are different. Like for me, for example, I don't trade anything anymore unless it's on the weekly time frame. For me, it's not worth the stress to trade anything lower, because it suits my personality, and over time it's just worked best for me. So for people that might trade intraday, there's a totally different solution to that. So you're mapping out support and resistance. Say for example, like here, terrible default colors, but let's just do a quick follow up on this. Okay, so you got your support and resistance levels, if you know basic horizontals, and then you're just looking for signals at those levels to confirm. So you've got cells here, and depending on how you use the app, or how you find out is the best for your app, that's a confirmation. And then it's just a matter of using it over time, back testing, and never using anything blindly. Because you're never going to open an app that you've just subscribed to and start throwing thousands of dollars at it. That just doesn't make sense in any part of the world, in any language, to me anyway. To some it might, I don't know, but not to me. So that's just a quick view of my thoughts on Strike in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Super.
Next one. When will the new Strike tutorial be published?
Can I answer this one? I think I can answer this very quickly. So once the new charting interface is launched with liquidity gaps and all the elements, liquidations, funding, etc., that will present an optimal point to run a new series of YouTube tutorials and articles. And we'll be using the charts, alerts, and screener to document trade-by-trade usage of the platform. So right now, there's no point in publishing new tutorials. Once that is released, Ted can start working on those again.
Yep. Yeah, there's no point doing things 5 times if we have 5 iterations. That's going to be a pain for everyone involved. Okay, next one is, when the product is finished, will I be able to create command boxes in the chart, like if price reaches green box and strike algo signals buy? Yeah, I think, Bull, you wanted to answer this one, right?
Yeah, I can answer this one quite quickly as well. So what we've been working towards with Lambda is building the best possible platform for directional trading in crypto. This means that once all the data is processed and the tools are present in the app and the community is there to help one another, the best would be to leverage all those tools to make the most informed, low switching cost, non-destructive trading interface possible. So you want all the elements that give you confidence to help you make your decisions. And we are building these features to make it as simple as possible. So you can imagine that once you have all of the signals perfected and optimized, tuned to the way that you want to use them, you have the panels with the data that you have, you'll be able to enter and exit the trade within the chart in the easiest possible manner. And we are looking as far as being able to create macros for entering. So let's say I want to layer a ladder of bids with an incrementing price under a certain level. I should be able to sort of program that in a form of macro at some point in the app. In the beginning, we'll have mainly the execution and the standard tools that you'd have, such as stop losses, trailing stop losses, and some things that help you with your execution flow. We've built those for ourselves for a long while, and we want to test them within Lambda. But in essence, the short answer to your question is yeah. So you'll be able to set your RR targets and where you want to enter and exit from the trade. And eventually, but we don't encourage this, link them to signals, for example, that come out of the platform. But like we said earlier, you cannot blind execute trade on that. So if you want to do that, fine, we'll give you the possibility, but I wouldn't do it out of the box.
Yep, agreed. Another one for Bull, probably. When will Woo integration happen? I think this will apply to most exchanges as well.
Yeah, so Ben York from Woo has reached out to us a couple of times, and we've told him the same as we've told everybody else from larger accounts that has reached out and say, hey, Lambda looks awesome. We love where you're going. We love the effort of the team. Do you want to start forming a partnership? And we're saying, yes, we do, but not yet, because we are building out the functionality and we want to capture the momentum when the time is right. And we're nearly there. So yeah, we're in touch. And they'll be one of the first exchanges in terms of data that will be integrated beyond Binance. And then we resume the discussions with them.
Yeah, simple as that. The interest is there. Like, it's more on our end, ensuring that we're ready to take on a larger audience. Next one. How many paid accounts are targeted in the first year after marketing? What is the approximate target? So, Bull, I don't know if you've got the stats on you handy at the moment of what we have currently and what we have had in the past, but eventually, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've tripled the amount of users that we have had since before we did the IDO last year, which is great in terms of accounts that are active. But we really, setting targets is a bit arbitrary. So yeah, we want 100K users. That's not realistic right off the bat. But for me, one thing that would be very, very cool is to see 10,000 active people on the platform to begin with, and then the next target would be to double that. So I think that if we take it stepwise and we involve the community, like Mario said, that would be the right targeting, in my opinion. targets need to have substance to them. So you need to know how long it takes to acquire one user, or what a week of marketing does in terms of user acquisition. Then you have an idea of what you can achieve. So as long as you stay open and transparent in that, and Ted and Haas have a full grip on that, I don't see an issue with those targets.
Yeah. 10K, I guess, let's call that an initial target. But as we saw with the lead into the IDO and what we did with building out the platform, the new iterations, that 3x'd our platform. So imagine what we can do if we start rolling out these. Well, we've got the macro dashboard, we roll out execution, we roll out on-chain alpha and integrations. The sky is really the limit.
Yeah, and we haven't really tapped into any of that stuff. So, for example, the free and open trials, so people can just use the app without buying a subscription, which is a huge barrier at the moment, which will be a massive one. More communication on Twitter with regards to signals that are coming out of the platform. Tweaks and optimizations to the tokenomics, that will be a massive one. Imagine you're using Lambda for all the microtransactions that you're using in the app, for example. We have done an immense amount of work on Telegram execution as well. So that might be a very interesting way to grow the community. And once we are done building the foundation, I think that we'll be a lot more nimble to piggyback and wave ride the trends that are happening every day within crypto.
Yeah. Slide 9. Concerning the staking model versus Lambda token price volatility, will you be able to retain your original? I think this is one for you as well, Paul.
Yeah. So dynamics of token usage elements like staking, burn, and the fees for trading discounts, etc., and other burn mechanisms, possibly the Telegram bot that I mentioned, can have a lot of effect on the token, but it's very hard to predict the effect on the token. So primarily, we focus on increasing volume. And in order to increase volume, we need to do two things, which is continue to build an epic platform, feedback from the community, make sure that it works. And that means that it helps them improve, it helps them make money, it helps them visibly recover the subscription fee, and then gain an epic community membership to boot. So that for me is the big goal in terms of when is it validated in terms of value for a user, is that it's profitable for them. And the mechanism is we encourage usage of the token. So currently there's only the subscription model, which involves token usage. So you need to buy the token in order to get a subscription. But what if you apply the token to all of the other mechanisms where you can apply it? So for example, if you have a free trial version and you want to execute, you need to burn a certain level of Lambda per trade. If you want to use our Telegram execution mechanism, then you need to pay a certain amount of Lambda, you need to commit and stake it. If you want to gain referral revenue, for example, you need to apply it to our staking contract and then share your referral. I mean, like I said, currently we're focusing on the foundation, but once the foundation is there, then we can start playing with the marketing and the tokenomics and perfecting that. So I hope that answers that question.
Maybe one thing to add there is people can think about it as a way to funnel all sorts of revenue, and there will be more than just the subscription-based revenue streams for Lambda itself back into the token ecosystem. And there will be adjustments to the tokenomics, but the token itself will just always take away value from that, which is important to say.
Yeah. But there's never going to be like a total Ponzonomic, because that is way too dangerous and silly.
Yeah.
We're limited in that because of regulatory reasons, and we don't want to do that ever. But still, we will think about smart ways to funnel back revenue.
Yeah, and it will center around fee structures essentially, which is you pay to use, and that's perfectly
it's
fine.
Using software to execute now. Will there be liquidity levels in the charts to show where the most long and short stops are sitting? So I'd like to just touch on this quickly. I think what most people tend to think of when they see liquidity levels are the high block charts. Great, like they show some pretty interesting visualizations, but the thing is behind these is that they're a guesstimate of where these liquidations are. It's never an accurate figure. So the way you'd have to curate this data and present it in a visualization would be to get the data from the exchange. And of course, the exchange is never going to give you data that shows where their customers' stops are. So if you're looking at these charts, they're very much a guesstimate of where I'll just show you this chart, what I'm referring to. Let me share a different one, share this tab. So this one here. So liquidation levels, these are just guessing where those liquidation levels are. So you'll notice that they're basically below swing points on the chart if you're doing technical analysis. And that's where people typically place their stops, and HighBlock and these other aggregators try to visualize how much liquidity would be sitting there based on open interest and all those sorts of things. So we're building something similar, but in a way that we see more logical. So
and real, right?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
what Ted wants to say is that the charts like this have to be viewed with a grain of salt, and they are based on some sort of information, but they're not accurate to the point of it that you have the exchange data. No one has that, even this chart of HighBlock. But, and this is the important part of it, we're building it. It will come something like this with our information, our data in that direction.
Yeah, exactly. So we're building a full order book suite. So order book heat maps, order book ladders, aggregated ladders, which is not done well at the moment or by many people, many platforms. So picture ladders with order book data from Binance, OKX, Deribit, all of these exchanges. You'll be able to just have one visualization where you can turn on or off each exchange, or you can aggregate them all together. And then also we're visualizing the change over time, which is not something that's shown at least on retail platforms like this. So what I mean by change in time, what is the depth right now versus an hour ago versus yesterday versus a month ago, to understand, are bids coming into the market? Are they going out of the market? Are more sellers coming into the market? And that's where there's a lot of alpha, a lot of information that can be gained and used in an actionable way. Because all of a sudden, if you see all of the offers fall out of the book, Binance, for example, has stopped selling or stopped putting offers in the book, and all of a sudden there's big buy walls walking price up. You'll be able to see that on Lambda, which will be quite awesome.
Yeah, order book over time, dynamically visualized, is a very key differentiator.
Yeah. But that's
coming. Yeah, to sum it up, we will have those things similar like that.
It's probably coming sooner than us three think as well. The devs are working.
I've already seen the test version, so it's a matter of
of
a little bit of time.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Back to, can't remember what the question was now. Will liquidity levels? Yeah, so I think we've answered that quite well and a little bit more.
But you'll never, just last thing on that, you'll never see exactly where the stops are ever, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Like Binance, for example, could see where their customers' stops are, but
you can get the highest probability information that gives you information on where they might likely be.
Yeah. But I think there's also some machine learning stuff you could do there, Bull, eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you can see retroactively where stops were placed because capital's been hunted all the time.
Yeah, there are liquidation data, etc. That's something you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, is there openness to providing liquidity against SOL as well as USDC? Could you provide more details about the scope? Okay, so there's 3 questions within this question.
Nice.
They've done well. Is there openness to providing? So I guess that means spinning up a SOL Lambda pool.
It exists already.
Yeah, so that should already all be there. As far as could you provide more details about the scope and capabilities and vision for the Telegram bot? I've been working pretty closely on this with the development team as well, with how can we make Telegram better than what exists currently, because what exists currently, it works, but I still think the UI is not quite there, and people shouldn't be having to type text and send messages and do all these sorts of things. It should just be in a keyboard where you're clicking buttons and you're clicking the least amount of buttons possible to get to an end result. So with that in mind, we're trying to get an integration with what exists currently in the Lambda app, the platform. So think of the charts, think of the calendar, the news, the alerts that we've built into the new Telegram group. If you're not in the Telegram group, there's a link in the Twitter profile. Go on the Twitter profile and you can get the Telegram group link. You've just got to go through a portal and then you'll land in the group. But there's news alerts, there's type in a symbol, a token ticker symbol on Ethereum or Solana, and you can get the data about that. But simplifying the UI, I think, is a big thing, and it's quite a big narrative going on. You see on CT all of these threaders saying, DEXs are dead, and all of these new Telegram bots and new ways to integrate with the blockchain are the way of the future, which I think we all agree with, because trading on Ethereum is an absolute pain in the ass through MetaMask or through these other protocols. So I think the Telegram narrative and the Telegram user base is only just beginning, particularly when we're just coming out of a bear market and into maybe a new cycle. So I think that's a very, very big opportunity for us to do something that doesn't exist yet. Sure, there's other Telegram bots there, but no one has the level of data that we have. We're going to have order book data, we're going to have macro data, we're going to have news, the ability to execute on-chain, on centralized exchanges. All of these things, the limits to what we can do are kind of endless. And I think we're pretty well positioned to start integrating that over to the Telegram bot, which is what we've started to do.
Mindful of the time, let's move on. Oh, sorry, there's some more questions here. So marketplace roadmap still on track of the November launch for marketplace. I don't think so, to be honest. I think that right now the main focus is making sure that charts, alerts, and the screener are out, and then the focus will be on making sure that we have execution ready, because of those, I think, are the most important features. That being said, the whole Strike integration in the backend and the algorithmic processing unit, which processes the Strike algorithm over all of the pairs of all of the exchanges on multiple timeframes, and you're seeing the results of that in Discord. That system has been prepared for the marketplace, so that instead of a Strike algorithm, we can run another algorithm and people can put that in the chart. So no for November launch, but yes, we have done a shit ton on it already. So that's it.
Yep, fully agree. Have you considered using an oracle like Supra oracles for data feeds? One for you, Paul?
I've answered this already in the chat, but I'll answer it really quickly. We're trying to use as little middlemen and abstraction layers as possible, because they introduce points where the application can fail if we're too dependent on others. And also, we've spent an enormous amount of time building the best data platform possible, so that we're not reliant and we have the most accurate data possible. So we have considered it, yes, but it's not suited to us.
Mm-hmm. I think we've already covered this for Javol. More charts, etc. Sooner than you think. Are you going to have a replay feature like TradingView? Can you replay more than one time frame? Oh, okay. That comes native with the TradingView library, right?
No, it doesn't. But there's a way that you can do this. You can trick it, and it's actually a lot simpler than people think. So instead of loading all the data, what you do is you load only a little bit of data, and then you have a backend process which streams WebSocket updates to the candles in the speed that you want the replay to happen. So technically, yes, it's absolutely possible. Are we going to have this? I think so, because it's quite useful to see how the signals develop. Are we going to have it right now? No. It will come after the main things are being delivered, but it's absolutely possible. If I'm completely cooked in my head from a week of working on stuff, then I think it might be a fun thing to surprise integrate, but no promises. And I'm sorry, Savil, for skipping over your question, but we answered it.
Well, we answered it.
Yeah, you did.
But you just didn't get the screen time that you wanted, I think.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Regarding custom scripts and indicators, what scripting language will be available? Will it be as powerful as PineScript?
More powerful, because it will be hardcore Python. So you can actually tie in other data sources, which you cannot do in PineScript. So we're very happy about that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. When will traditional markets be added to Lambda? Is there an update plan to display the Strike algo with Japanese candlesticks? Yes, there is. That actually exists, I believe. Bull, correct me if I'm wrong. In the current iteration you're working on, the Japanese candlesticks.
That's a whole thing that's integrated in the new chart process, and it's done. So the backend is now generating the Strike signals, and the signals are time and asset dependent and no longer chart dependent. So you can print any kind of chart that you want, and the signals will be printed on the exact time that the best signal is coming in. So yes.
Yep.
Traditional
matter of
that's less of
propagating.
less of a priority because we're focused on crypto. But what I would suggest is that with the mods and the team, we start a traditional markets channel and we start gathering feedback on which data sources are most used. Because I don't trade traditional markets that much, so I cannot answer it, but Ted does. So I think if we can start that discussion there.
Mm-hmm.
One question before we go on with the other questions, because it just came in the chat, is why is Hoss so inactive on the Discord? Well, the main reason for that is I really dislike Discord. I hate Discord, which doesn't mean I'm inactive in terms of team-wise what happens with Lambda and the Lambda chats, but that's why we also created the Telegram. And for me, don't get this wrong. I appreciate the community a lot, but for me, I have a lot of things going on. Just sitting in the chat talking about things with people doesn't get us anywhere, because I'm also not a dev. I cannot respond to questions like, yo, when is this feature coming out? Guys, I'm also just waiting. But I will be definitely more active in the Telegram, especially in terms of sharing ways that I will use Lambda, especially when we also ramp up the marketing. And I think this is the main answer. I don't think anyone benefits from my activity in the Discord in any way that would bring Lambda further. But I do understand the question. I do understand why people ask this, but this is the answer. It's not like I'm not there. I'm there, guys. Don't worry. I'm here, as you can see, and my support will be there, especially when it's most important, when it's crucial. But don't confuse Discord activity with product activity or project activity.
I'm actually very happy he's not there. We sent the best jokes in screenshots, but we need somebody focused outwards and not inwards. So I'm very happy he's not shitposting in it.
Yeah. Hoss is there every day. We're always communicating every day. It's
in fact,
I feel the same. Like managing Twitter, managing YouTube. Like when I was on YouTube, like it's crazy. And Hoss is doing a very good job at all of these things. But Discord, it's crazy the amount of attention when your account gets to a certain size.
I love Discord, and if I speak too much in there, virtually slap me because I need to get back to deving.
But I think that's good. I think we have different ways in which we communicate and also support. So this is just the answer, because people have been asking this. They think, oh, he's gone. He will not care about the project anymore and things like that. No, guys, I'm here. This is why I'm responding to it.
I mean, my wife is saying, why is the most active chat the chat that you have with Ted and Hoss and not me? And I was like, well, I live with you and we are working with Hoss every day. So
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I can quickly cover this status of the monthly burn. We haven't done one in a few months, but I'll give you the quick update on where we're at currently. So let me add this screen here. Okay, so this is the burn account. You can see this burn account in the documentation. If you go to docs.lambda.markets, the token details, and you've got everything there. So the burn wallet is there. We're on the burn wallet now, and currently there's 58,550 tokens there, roughly $1,168. So those will be burnt. I'll defer to Bull on that one, but those are not being touched. They'll be burnt by us manually, but eventually in the coming months, we want to automate this process. So as tokens come in, they're burnt, and we don't have to ask the question, what's the status?
And I think one important thing about the burns is, if you look at the numbers now, you're like, oh, that's not a lot of amount of tokens being burned. It doesn't have any effect or in any way. We know that. We didn't. The memberships itself, right now, you can only access Lambda memberships. The memberships did not start yet in the way that you have to recur it. And also, as we mentioned earlier, when we finished the product in the way, not finished, but advanced in a way that we think it is appropriate, where we start the big marketing, there will be a lot of more ways that will also funnel back fees or things to the token that will also be burned. So this number is not in any way showcasing where this lead to be, especially with memberships not even being active in that sense right now.
Yeah, so I think that the main takeaway is that there's two things, and that is that we think it makes more sense continuing the burn once the recurring subscriptions start, because currently, because the product is not feature complete, everybody basically has an infinite membership until the fully featured the fully featured platform is complete. Then everybody's subscriptions will start from point 0, and then the recurring subscription should come in. So I think that then there's a more accurate vision of the burn. And the second thing is that currently we're doing the burn manually, and I think it should be automatic. So I've worked on a smart contract to do that for us automatically, which also takes care of the fee structure for the platform. And that's the long and short of it. Was I gigabrain from birth? I'm actually quite stupid, and I drooled a lot when I was a baby, apparently, according to my mom. But then again, my mom is a special lady. Then Alpha Lux, I don't know. I don't really spend any time on those platforms. And the current amount of subscriptions is circling around about 5,000.
Yep. And the timer hasn't been turned back on yet, but that's going to be turned back on as soon as this charting update goes live, right?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Next question. Is it realistic? Yeah, absolutely.
What is the status of the updated roadmap? Promise features like advanced charting, macro dashboard. So macro dashboard's live, trade engine. Are we still on plan with the rest of the roadmap? So I think Bull's already touched on this, but just the TLDR.
So Nokek, I completely understand it's annoying when we reshuffle stuff, because we really set out to make sure some stuff is happening in terms of the roadmap. We tried to get the very important features out already, and we've tried to make sure that we build up the development team that we hired in such a way that they can work as independently as possible from me, which we have now succeeded in doing. So we want to make sure that we deliver all of those features this year. It's just not in the order that we shared it in the visualization. And that's something that we need to improve. But you can see the progress on it every day and ask us questions on it every day. So we're still on plan with the roadmap, yes, but not in the order that we initially set out. And when some stuff gets released, all of a sudden it will feel like, holy shit, there's so much new stuff. But the fact is that we've been working on it for quite a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this is the final question. What can we do as a community to help with Lambda write plugins for the platform? We've touched on that with the marketplace. Should we try to advertise, or are there any other things? And like I think we said earlier, just engaging, sharing feedback, that's the most valuable thing. And when this market goes crazy again, we're in the best position to take advantage, I think.
Yeah,
right,
so we have a whole team of llamas to promote it.
And llamas,
with all the tools that we have, the reflink system and the P&L screenshots and all of that stuff, and people, like, the most important thing for me is people winning with the tool. So if you're like, you started with $300 and suddenly you're with $1,000 because you've learned stuff from the platform, that's what we want to hear. Is like, yo, I actually won with this. And for me, that is success. Success is not the revenue or the money, it's if we're winning together. So if you can share that and keep the vibes positive in the community, then you are doing way more than we could ever ask of you.
Yeah, and the help is always appreciated. But yeah, honestly, it's just engaging, providing feedback. Like, we want to make this the best platform to come to maybe learn crypto, but also for people that have been in crypto for a while to use and inform decisions and help them get better. So yeah, feedback is very important.
It's just, how cool is it? Like, you spend some money on a subscription, sure, but you've gained a bunch of digital friends in the community that you're active in, and you're better off than you started with. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah, like the meme coin channel, that was so beautiful that Dangerous Bros set that up when people were printing on these meme coins these last couple of weeks.
I couldn't follow it, but I made some calculations. I could have easily minted a whole salary based on the alpha in that channel alone, and that's just our mod who has a full-time job bossing it out and sharing information with the community. And
that's like fully independent of what Bull, Hoss, and I are doing. Like, we're just deving or doing whatever we're doing, and then we check in on the Discord, and there's this meme coin channel that's popped up and going nuts. So
but in the end, like, to win, it's up to you. You know, we don't move your hand, we don't push buttons for you. That's your task. Yeah. We just try to give you.
Yeah, we just want to facilitate that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. Okay.
I really want this llama thing to happen. I think we should rename to llama markets. Honestly, the meme value is so high.
Yeah, the ChatGPT llamas were epic.
Yeah, Mid-Journey llamas.
Still one on Twitter. I use ChatGPT. I can do it now as well.
So the last call Dangerous Bros made is 8x since yesterday. My wallet is up 6x in 4 days. Nokek, I applaud you. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Anyway, thank you for everyone.
All right.
Do you guys have anything else to add?
49 minutes. That's very respectable. I'm impressed with us.
Yeah, I think it was a good call. I think we clarified a lot of things also from my end. I hope people understand, and I'm here. We're all here. A lot of things. I think a lot of things might come way more unexpected in the timeline of this project, which is Lambda, than people might anticipate. Like a lot of things might change very quickly to very positive states where people don't think it will be like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's good. So people, guys, one last sentence maybe to add is that we do think a lot about a lot of things. And if you think, for example, oh, marketing, there's nothing happening, it's not because we don't think about it. It's because we have a plan for it. But everything at its right time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hope this doesn't get turned into a meme. It will come harder than expected. I can already see it. I can see Dangerous Bro's mind lighting up right now, like, oh, the amount of meme value in this. All right. Well, more importantly than that is we want to stop speaking about it and start doing it again. So on that note, I'm going to leave this AM.
Get back into it.
Thank
you, guys. All right. It's been good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.